All right, Colin, how's the day going so far? I know this is your first event.
It is my first event. I mean, UWIC, I think, when I chatted to Debbie and she said this event was going on today, it was really interesting looking at the lineup. I mean, I don't sit and listen to human trafficking presentations very often, ever, right, from a security standpoint. The gentleman that spoke about the DoD and the challenges of AI was fascinating. Recruitment was also very interesting. I didn't appreciate a lot of the stats that Will raised. And so the ability for me to sit and listen to different perspectives on the cyber industry was frankly, really interesting. Something I just don't do that much of. Frankly, I should do it more, but yeah, it was enlightening.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I couldn't agree more. I've been part of this organization for many years, really before it even became as official as it is now. And I couldn't agree more. I think it's a great, intimate group of people. There's a wide array of topics. And I think, the idea really is cybersecurity is a problem for everyone to be aware of and tackle. And I think it just gives you the breadth of topics underneath that umbrella that I think we don't get just from, our own day jobs. So I think
Agreed.
it's a really...
I mean, one of the other things I thought was pretty interesting as well was the fact that talking about designing products and then putting cybersecurity
that was
code
really
on top,
interesting.
as opposed to starting with cyber code and then building the product around it. So, years ago at a different company, if you buy a camera to do some remote, of a house or a property or whatever, you can't put a password in. It's ABCD. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's how people get in and hack thousands of those types of things. So, designing security up as opposed to security last was another really interesting presentation.
Yeah, and I know you spoke on the diversity panel. I think that's an example of why diversity is so important, is just the more diverse the group, the more different ideas you have and looking at problems in different ways, and I think that is a great example,
Totally. I mean, I think the diversity topic, I mean, it's sort of, it's up there with remote working, it's up there with collaboration, and as you know, what we've done at Vercara, I mean, somebody asked me this question at a town hall, like, are you going to mandate a return to the office? And I'm like, no, because, that feels a little authoritarian, number one, but at the end of the day, I mean, my sort of belief for Vercara is if you want to learn from people, meet people.
Yes.
Go to the office now and then, meet people, sit in groups, and learn from other folks. If you're sitting at home all the time, you're going to find yourself remote, isolated, you're not connected, and I think there's a balance to everything. So when people go back to the office and they have these sort of group meetings, I think that's great, but we don't need to be there 5 days a week. And so, we're not going to mandate anything around return to the office or, as somebody said, return to work, because I actually think that people are working longer hours remotely than they might have been had they been in the office.
Sure, yeah. I love this option as a remote worker, generally speaking, that I can come out to an event like this and just really be inspired by the people that I'm, networking with here and all the different topics like we touched on this morning. So I think it's a great...
Yeah, I mean, Wendy, right, who was on our panel, I mean, she lives in Atlanta. She's got a 2.5-hour ride from where she used to live into her office. That's 5 hours a day. And that's not really helping her. It's not productive.
Sure.
And so, I think if we can get up and be productive for 7-8 hours a day, wherever we are, that's a bonus. So, yeah, we're not going to mandate anything. We have a sparkling new office in Herndon, as you know. But, when you're there, and when you're not, you're not.
Exactly. So tell me a little bit about why this being part of this organization made sense for you, for Vercara, and for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think, again, that there aren't many organizations like this that are security-centric and people, who've got diverse backgrounds that are either in product, they're in DoD, they're in banking, they're in financial services, they're in healthcare, just bumping into people around coffee and so forth. I don't get the opportunity to meet those folks that much. Plus, you have, the QR code on the table. Everybody can hit the UWIC on LinkedIn, which I think is really cool. And so, opportunities arise from these conversations as well. So I think there's 2 to 3 people I've talked to already that, didn't know who Vercara were.
Sure.
What do you guys do? And it's like fascinating to them. So the opportunity to learn from the broader environment, I think, is is good. It's not something I get to do an awful lot of.
Yeah, I love that QR code option to join
Yeah,
that LinkedIn
totally.
group because it really allows us to take these great conversations that we're
Yeah.
having at this conference and carry them on when we
Yeah.
leave here today. So
Yeah,
I'm glad
absolutely.
you joined that. I'll be looking for you on there as
Totally,
well.
I did, and I've had
Yeah.
3 or 4 invites already. So,
Oh, good.
yeah.
Nice.